So, uh, welcome to the Captain's Blog. Stardate December 14th, 2012. Today there was a horrible tragedy in the United States of America where at least 18 children were killed by a gunman in Connecticut. Several other adults killed as well. All the details are not in now as well, of course, but President cried during his press conference today, talking about the incident. I also cried watching his press conference about the incident today. I also posted a tweet that may have been a little, too sarcastic for the occasion, that got retweeted 1,200 times. That's never happened to me before. Obviously, this is a completely unmitigated tragedy, and there's no sense in trying to profit from it in any way. But there is one group of people that will try to profit from it in an indirect way, and that is the gun lobby. And I said this on Facebook, and I stand by it. The gun lobby relies on the mental state of mind that there is no way that you can talk about politics on a day like today because it's in bad taste. So a series of incidents have happened, let alone in the last 2 years. The attempted assassination of Congresswoman Gabby Giffords, the Aurora, Colorado shooting where several people were shot in a movie theater, the Sikh temple attack, and then today, it's hard to not think that violence is escalating, but I know that people like Steven Pinker and these other cognitive scientists about the nature of violence will tell me that it's decreasing. But we have a situation today where we have access to these machines of death that can kill people at an incredible rate, and I know maybe he even only used handguns in this incident, but the fact that someone who was in this state of mind was able to acquire these weapons is unbelievable. But I believe in the Second Amendment, yes, I do, because I do believe that the founders intended it as a way to resist tyranny in its last level, but they conceived of a well-regulated militia, as they well laid out in the Constitution. And so they envisioned things like armories where citizens would jointly hold all of their guns together in case of a domestic or civil emergency, where everyone would go together and grab their guns and resist whatever invasion would happen. Not what the NRA does today, which resists things like the assault weapons ban, the United Nations Arms Control Treaty, which is basically aimed at shutting down the United States' unprecedented export of small arms to the rest of the world, profiting hundreds of millions of dollars a year in the billions of dollars a year arms control trade. But then the last thing that we come to about this incident is the situation, obviously, we see in China, where they do have, obviously, much stricter controls on firearms, along with a host of other, of course, humanitarian and human rights violations, of course. But a gunman attacked a school in China this week and slashed 22 children, injured 22 people, killed no one. So it kind of demonstrates to me that when you ban the kind of ready availability of firearms that we have in the United States, it at least sometimes makes it so crazy people can't kill as many people when they will inevitably go on what seems like an inevitable amount of violent killing sprees. So the only way to avoid this kind of situation is with more mental health services. And the part that I will not let the conservative movement, pro-gun movement get away with is the correlation between their values about how the Second Amendment is an unassailable right and the mentality that we must drown government in a bathtub to get to the point where government has no ability to do anything, which means no ability to intervene in the mental health of potentially dangerous people like this. So I will not allow conservatives to say, on the one hand, that we must allow firearms, but we must also completely cut back on all domestic spending, including mental health services, to help these people. So that's the thing that I won't let them get away with. And I think there's a perfectly legitimate political dialogue that we must have now, because if we don't, their side wins, because they rely on this mindset of you can't talk about it. You can't talk about it because it's in bad taste today. So when can we talk about it? Like I posted on Facebook. Is it a week? Is it a month? Is it 17 years? I don't know. When are we allowed to have this conversation? This is a question to you, NRA, and other unmitigated Second Amendment supporters. When is it okay? somehow we've disconnected the concept of government from what we as citizens do together as a community. We've imagined it as this some sort of unassailable, unaccountable entity that we have no control over as citizens. But that's not what it is. It's what we decide our policies collectively should and must be. And gun control is one of these issues that clearly we have to make a decision about. This is a situation like just here in my propaganda poster. Latest in my series, obviously Winston Churchill. Never has so much in the course of human events been owed by so many to so few. So let's not let these senseless deaths in Connecticut add to the pile of other senseless deaths that we've seen. Let's do something about it this time, and let's figure out how we stop people like this from being able to get weapons to kill innocent children and still protect what I do believe is the founders' intent to provide a last barricade against tyranny in the Second Amendment. Which doesn't mean that we have to have things like the gun show loophole and things that allow people to go without background checks and purchase firearms. So I think this is our time to make a specific policy argument, and I think we have to do it now. And if we have to start with the gun show loophole, let's at least do that, and let's at least step it up a small notch in response to this unmitigated tragedy. Thank you.